Hello. There's the elect, there's the remnant, there's the bride, and which all of these are considered to be Yezreel. Um, but I would like to take a closer look at the bride of the Lamb. But before we do that, let's first see if there's anywhere in Scripture that teaches us that Yahuwah is our husband. Let's start in the beginning in Exodus. After the children of Israel came out of Egypt, they traveled through up to the Sea of Reeds, and they were pursued by Pharaoh and his army. And Yahuwah parted the Sea of Reeds so that the children of Israel could pass through the waters into the other side. And then when Pharaoh and his army tried to pursue them, then Yahuwah allowed the walls of water to collapse and come down and flood, overtake the armies of Pharaoh and drowned everybody. So after that, it was approximately 50 days later, the children of Israel is camped at the base of Mount Sinai, and Yahuwah proposes to them, proposes marriage to them. And this is where we're going to pick up the scene right there at the base of Mount Sinai. So, Exodus 19. And now, if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possessions above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and set before them all these words of Yahuwah, which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahuwah has spoken, we shall do. So Moses brought back the words of the people to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moses, see, I am coming to you in the thick cloud, so that the people hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. And Moses reported the words of the people to Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to Moses, go to the people and set them apart today and tomorrow. And they shall wash their garments and shall be prepared by the third day. For on the third day Yahuwah shall come down upon Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, out of the house of slavery, and you have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the skies above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah your Elohim, am a jealous visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing kindness to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commands. You do not cast the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to ruin, for Yahuwah does not leave one unpunished who casts his name to ruin. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it set apart. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah your Elohim. You do not do any work, you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the skies and the earth and seas and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the soil which Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder. You do not break wedlock. You do not steal. You do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's house. You do not covet your neighbor's wife or asha, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. And all the people saw the thunders, the lightning flashes, the sound of the ram's horn, and the mountain smoking. And the people saw it, and they trembled and stood at a distance, and said to Moses, You speak with us, and we hear. But let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said to the people, Do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, in order that his fear be before you, so that you do not sin. So here the children of Israel, gets the marriage vows from the husband, and basically they've just entered into relationship, a marriage, matrimony type relationship with Elohim. We turn to Isaiah 54. We can read, For your maker is your husband. Yahuwah Sabaoth is his name, and the set apart one of Israel is your redeemer. He is called the Elohim of all the earth. For Yahuwah has called you like a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, like a woman of youth when you were refused, declares your Elohim. For a little while I have forsaken you, but with great compassion I shall gather you. And in overflow of wrath I hid my face from you for a moment. But with everlasting kindness I shall have compassion on you, said Yahuwah, your Redeemer. So, that's pretty clear that our Maker is our husband. But then something happens. The children of Israel become disobedient, and they begin whoring, and they began doing things that they were not commanded to do by Yahuwah, and they backslide back into Egypt, or the world. Egypt represents the world of idolaters, and they begin whoring with other mighty ones, and worshiping and praising and praying and chanting and doing pagan rituals to idols and carved images. And so this no doubt angers Yahuwah, and so we can start reading about this in Jeremiah 3. And Yahuwah said to me in the days of Yashayahu the sovereign, Have you seen what backsliding Israel has done? She has gone up on every high mountain and under every green tree, and there committed whoring. And after she had done all these, I said, Return to me. But she did not return. And her treacherous sister Yehuda saw it. And I saw that for all the causes for which sliding Israel had broken wedlock, I had put her away and given her a certificate of divorce. So here we find out that Israel and Yehuda are two different, are a split nation. Israel split into two nations. And he's giving Israel, who's went whoring, a certificate of divorce. That's the northern tribes. Yet her treacherous sister Yehuda did not fear, but went and committed whoring too. That's the southern tribes. And it came to be through her frivolous whoring that she defiled the land and broken wedlock with stones and wood. So she went whoring after idols of stone and wood, other mighty ones. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Yehuda has not turned to me with all her heart, but falsely, declares Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to me, backsliding Israel has shown herself more righteous than treacherous Yehuda. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return, O backsliding Israel, declares Yahuwah. I shall not look on you in displeasure, for I am kind, declares Yahuwah, and I do not bear a grudge forever. Only acknowledge your crookedness, because you have transgressed against Yahuwah your Elohim, and have scattered your ways to strangers under every green tree. And you have not obeyed my voice, declares Yahuwah. Return, O backsliding children, declares Yahuwah, for I shall rule over you, and shall take you, one from a city and two from a clan, and shall bring you to Zion. And I shall give you shepherds according to my heart, and they shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall be when you have increased and shall bear fruit in the land in those days, declares Yahuwah, that they no longer say, the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah. Neither would it come to heart, nor would they remember it, nor would they visit it, nor would it be made again. And that time Jerusalem shall be called the throne of Yahuwah, and all the nations shall be gathered to it, to the name of Yahuwah, to Jerusalem, and no longer walk after the stubbornness of their evil heart. In those days the house of Yehuda shall go to the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given as inheritance to your fathers. So he's calling on, basically, there's prophesying that there's going to be a time of reconciliation with his bride. And so he talks a little bit more, we get a little bit more information about the reconciliation back to the same bride, Israel and Judah, in Jeremiah 31. So let's read that. Yahuwah appeared to me from afar, saying, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore I shall draw you with kindness. I am going to build you again, and you shall be rebuilt, O maiden of Israel. Again you shall take up your tambourines and go forth in the dances of those who rejoice. Again you shall plant vines on the mountains of Samaritan. The planters shall plant and treat them as common. For there shall be a day when the natsarim cry on Mount Ephraim, arise and let us go to Zion, to Yahuwah our Elohim. In those days they shall no longer say, the fathers ate sour grapes, and the children's teeth are blunted. But each one shall die for his own crookedness. Whoever eats sour grapes, his teeth shall be blunted. See, the days are coming, says Yahuwah, when I shall make a renewed covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehuda. Not like the covenant I made with their fathers in the day when they took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, my covenant which they broke, though I was a husband to them, declares Yahuwah. For this is the covenant I shall make with the house of Israel after those days, declares Yahuwah. I shall put my Torah in their inward parts and write it on their hearts. And I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And no longer shall they teach each one his neighbor and each one his brother, saying, Know Yahuwah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, declares Yahuwah. For I shall forgive their crookedness and remember their sin no more. So here is a prophecy that says basically that the individuals in Israel, it's not going to be judged or punished anymore as a group, but as individuals. So the marriage and the renewed covenant is a one-on-one relationship. Okay? And so he's recounseling on a one-to-one basis, in other words, with his bride. Now, he's the Redeemer. He redeems. He's purchased his bride, repurchases bride, or purchases bride with his blood. Okay, and so he's gonna. That means he owns her. She's his property, and now he's going to come back someday and redeem her. So he's coming back to get his property that he's already paid for. So we've been purchased by his blood, and he's coming back to redeem those who belong to him or who are his bride. In the meantime, he's going to prepare his bride is going to prepare herself and get herself cleaned up and in preparation or expectation of the return of her husband or her king. So just read real quick in 1 Peter. Therefore, having girded up the loins of your mind, being sober, set your expectation perfectly upon the favor that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Yahushua Mashiach, as obedient children, not conforming yourselves to the former lusts in your ignorance. Instead, as the one who called you and set apart. Instead, as the one who called you is set apart, so you also should become set apart in all behavior, because it has been written, Be set apart, for I am set apart. And if you call on the Father, who without partiality judges according to each one's work, pass the time of your sojourning in fear, knowing that you were redeemed from your futile way of life inherited from your fathers, not with what is corruptible, silver or gold, but with the precious blood of Mashiach, as of a lamb unblemished and spotless, foreknown indeed before the foundation of the world, but manifested in these last times for your sakes, who through him believe in Elohim, who raised him from the dead and gave him esteem, so that your belief and expectation are in Elohim. So that pretty much explains that. Now, obviously, we know that to be called out and set apart is a blessing, and there may be no higher blessing than to be called out and set apart. So it's not something to be bummed out about, or fear, or feelings of loneliness, and just sitting there letting time go by, pondering whether or not you made a mistake or not by following the set apart command. This is something you should be joyful about. You should be happy, joyful. You should be busy preparing yourself as the bride for your wedding, for the wedding feast and the return of your king or husband. So it should be an exciting and joyful time in your life, not a depressed, lonely, fearful, destitute type period. All right. So let's read about this set apartness being a blessing. That'll be in Revelations 19. Hallelujah! For Yahuwah El Shaddai reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice and give him praise, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his woman prepared herself. And to her it was given to be dressed in fine linen, clean and bright, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. And he said to me, Write, blessed are those who have been called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, These are the true words of Yahuwah. Okay. So, that brings us to the point of we need to know who is the bride. What's the bride look like? So let's get a look at the bride, if you will. It's in Revelations 22. I mean, we know that the word is bride, but let's get a look at it and see what it says about the bride. So Revelations 21. Come, I shall show you the bride, the Lamb's Asha, or woman. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me the great city, the Kadesh, or set apart, Jerusalem, descending out of the heaven from Yahuwah. Okay, in this description, it sounds like the bride's a city, not us, right? Having the esteem of Yahuwah, and her light was like a most precious stone, like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and having a great and high wall, having 12 gates, and at the gates 12 messengers, and names written on them, which are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. The 3 gates on the east, 3 gates on the north, 3 gates on the south, and 3 gates on the west. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 emissaries of the Lamb. And he who spoke with me had a gold measuring rod to measure the city, and its gates, and its wall. And the city lies 4-cornered, and its length is as great as its breadth. And he measured the city with the rod, 2,200 kilometers length, and the breadth and the height of it are equal. And he measured its wall, 65 meters, according to the measure of a man, that is, of a messenger. And the structure of its wall was jasper, and the city was clean gold like clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with all kinds of precious stones. The first foundation, jasper, the second foundation, sapphire, and the third, agate, and the fourth, emerald, and the fifth, sardonyx, the sixth, ruby, the seventh, crystallite, the eighth, beryl, and the ninth, topaz, and the 10th, chrysoprase, and the 11th, jacinth, and the 12th, amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. There's your 12, your pearly gates. They're in the New Jerusalem. The 12 of them, 12 pearls. Each one of the gates was a single pearl. And the street of the city was clean gold like transparent glass. And I saw no temple in it, for Yahuwah El Shaddai is its temple in the Lamb. And the city had no need of the sun nor of the moon to shine in it, for the esteem of Yahuwah lighted it. And the lamp is and the Lamb is its lamp. The nations of those who are delivered shall walk in its light, and the sovereigns of the earth bring their esteem into it. And its gates shall not be shut at all by day, or for night shall not be there. And they shall bring the esteem and the appreciation of the nations into it, and there shall by no means enter into it whatever is unclean, neither anyone doing abomination and falsehood, but only those who are written in the Lamb's scroll of life. And he showed me a river of water of life, clear as a crystal, coming from the throne of Yahuwah and of the Lamb. In the middle of its street and on either side of the river was the tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit each moon. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And no longer shall there be any curse, and the throne of Yahuwah and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be written in their foreheads. And night shall be no more, and they shall have no need of a lamp or the light of the sun, because Yahuwah shall give them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. And he said to me, these words are trustworthy and true. So, there's no greater calling or reward than to be Yahuwah's set-apart bride. His bride will be redeemed at his second coming, and it will be the first resurrection group and those who remain alive in Mashiach that will make up his bride. Paul pursued it and referred to it as the higher calling. Perhaps there is no greater use of our time on earth than to prepare for the day of his second coming and to be his bride. In fact, observing Yahuwah's 7 appointed times trains us to do just that. We should not just sit idly by, feeling sorry for ourselves because we are lonely and fearful. We should remain busy filling our lamps with the required oil, which will be necessary to get to the wedding feast. We must put on get a wedding garment. Our lamps must be full of oil prior to the midnight call, which will be announcing the return of the King. By remaining in earnest expectation, we show our love for our Master. We should also look forward to our study time, because by obtaining more insight or new knowledge about our Master, this will help aid us in any unforeseen spiritual warfare that may come our way at any time. And it will also help us to not conform to the world again, but help our minds be transformed by the renewing of our mind in truth, so that we prove what is good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of Yahuwah. In this way, we may be found practicing amunah, or belief in obedience, when he comes to redeem us. It is very important that we aren't found spinning our wheels or simply remaining lukewarm with our amunah, because he will spew us out of his mouth. Clearly, then, it is vital to achieving the higher calling that we continue to grow in the mind of the Spirit and truth. Matter of fact, by walking in the Spirit and truth while speaking pure and perfect prayers to Yahuwah is the best way to clean ourselves up. It may be the only way to stay in perfection and present ourselves as a virgin bride without spot or blemish. It is vital that we obey the set-apart command in order to stay unstained by the world. It's the only way to keep our lamps lit and filled with the mandatory oil, which is required to enter the wedding feast at his return. If we are truly his virgin bride, we should be so deeply in love with Yahushua that our lives have become living examples of his righteousness in us, because we are walking as he walked while here on the earth. In other words, by remaining faithful, true, trustworthy, obedient, honest, and good servants who love Yahuwah and our neighbors, we may be seen as the cleaned up virgin bride he wants and desires to marry. Thank you for watching, and remember, Yahushua wants a clean virgin bride without blemish or spot. So stay set apart and visit the fatherless and the widows in their affliction, and stay unstained from the world.
Living water,
Bonus feature time. Then the reign of the Shemayim shall be compared to 10 maidens or virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were wise and 5 foolish. Those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their jars with their lamps. Now while the bridegroom took time, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight a cry was heard, "See, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him." Then all those maidens rose up and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, "Give us of your oil, because our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, saying, "No way. There would not be enough for us and you. Instead, go to those who sell and buy for yourselves." And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. And later the other maidens also came, saying, "Master, Master, open up for us." But he answering said, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you." This is a very, very, very important parable to understand. The wedding feast, he comes for his bride. Your oil and your lamp is truth. You better have truth in you. In other words, Yahushua HaMashiach's spirit in you is the oil in your lamp. Your lamp being your heart and mind, of course. So your wedding garment is also Yahushua's spirit in you. Therefore, when you look into the spiritual meaning behind this parable, you have to repent, be watery immersed, receive the indwelling spirit of Yahushua, and then walk in obedience to prove your belief. Belief in obedience. Belief proves your obedience proves your belief. And you have to continue doing that as the race of endurance until your husband returns, or you get caught up in the wink of an eyelid with him, get your mortal body, or you fall asleep, and then which will wake you up on this return, and you will be part of the resurrection of the dead, and then you'll be given immortality and caught up with him. Those who are still alive in his coming, the clouds, he descends down upon Mount Olives in Jerusalem, Israel. So it's important to have the oil needed in your lamps in order to get into the wedding feast, folks. Prepare yourselves for your husband's return. Bonus feature time continue, part 2. He who does wrong, let him do more wrong. He who is filthy, let him be more filthy. He who is righteous, let him be more righteous. He who is set apart, let him be more set apart. And see, I am coming speedily, and my reward is with me, to give to each according to his work. I am the Aleph and the Tav, beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are those doing his commands, so that the authority shall be theirs to the tree of life, and to enter through the gates into the city. But outside are the dogs, and those who enchant with drugs, and those who whore, and the murderers, and the idolaters, and all who love and do falsehood.
My heart desires to
I, Yahusha, have sent my messenger to witness to you these in the assemblies. I am the root and the offspring of Daud, the bright and morning star, and the Ruach and the bride say, Come. And he who hears, let him say, Come. And he who thirsts, come. And he who desires it, take the water of life without pain. Hallelujah. And remember to stay in love with your Redeemer and your husband, Yahusha HaMashiach. So long, beloved of Yahuwah.
Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, Yahusha. Living Torah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living water, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living water, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, Yahusha. Living Torah, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living Torah, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, Yahusha. Living Torah, Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Bashem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living water, Baruch haba, Bashem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living water, Baruch haba, Bashem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise